Okay, let's start with anti-lateral flexion. All the lateral ab and back muscles are trying to stabilize the lower lumbars. They want it on lockdown. If the QL and obliques are trying to protect the lower spine by locking the lowest rib down onto the pelvis, then how do you reach across? What muscle do you use to move the torso laterally? I mean, there are so many muscles in the back. There's just no clue to know. The lat, latissimus dorsi, coming from the Latin meaning the most lat ever, is the don for lateral movement of the torso. It originates under the humerus and inserts onto the pelvis. In our tree swinging times, this was the King Louis of muscles, but when you're swinging from branch to branch, your feet aren't in contact with the ground. That means that the QLs and the obliques can function isometrically to protect your spine. But the second you plant both legs down on the terra firma and want to reach over, the pivot point changes. Chronically tight QLs, I think, come from asking it to do two jobs. Firstly, stabilize. Secondly, extend and contract at the same time. People with back and hip pain often have one or both tight QLs, and they'll try all types of strategies to relax them. But I think that they're getting tight because of two reasons. So that's two jobs and two reasons. That's like 4 things to consider. No wonder back pain's so hard to conquer. Reason 1, it gets unfit. The QL is an aerobic postural muscle. It attaches the pelvis to the ribs. But if you train it like it's a fast twitch fiber muscle, it loses its conditioning and gets tight. Reason 2, the body is unhappy with the current lateral setup, and so it locks one of your QLs down because it's worried that you're going to go and jukes up your spine. The key to lateral flexion and QL relaxation is fitness of the muscle and balance between left and right. Leave the QL to stabilize and do your upper body lateral movement with your lats, either overhead or leaning across if you're in a tree without hiking your pelvis. If your legs are off the floor in your reach, then you can keep your pelvis stable and in line. But if your feet are rooted to the floor and you try it, then you make your pelvis tilt laterally. And we're just not equipped to deal with lateral pelvic tilting. And that is the missing link, because we don't develop it. It's the shortfall in our movement evolution. So you can either wait 6 million years to evolve the musculature to do it, or if you're a bit pressed for time, just turn to face it. Change the plane. But humans are less orangutan and more wu-tang, because we hang out at ground level. So we've had to master an entirely different skill, that of lower body lateral movement. Ah! Battery! I'll change it. Okay, I'm sorry for the subterfuge, but I'm having to record this on a burner phone. Now, sideways hip movement is the most underused, underrated, underappreciated movement of the entire human body, and I just couldn't work out why. So, I started digging around in the chat rooms of the dark web, and then this turned up in the post, and it just said, "Play me." So here it is. It doesn't matter who I am, only what I was. I used to work in a top-secret government facility on shadow health projects, obscuring health knowledge and providing fitness misinformation. The best way to control people is to stop them moving, make a prison out of their bodies, keep them in pain. Self-torture keeps them compliant, stops them looking at the big picture. Lower body lateral movement. That's what they really don't want you to know about. They didn't want anyone knowing about the abductions, so they gave it cutesy primary school terms like crab walks and starfishes to keep the masses in the dark about it. They obscured the truth to stop people unlocking their true potential. The muscles of the hips should be household names like abs and biceps, but the powers that be needed to keep them under wraps.
They even tried to redact the word abduction, but it got out. So as damage control, they linked it to something the masses would dismiss at the time. Aliens. But why, you ask? Because they're scared of how much power people would really have if they trained these muscles properly. And do you know how they did it? How they got the masses to see it as no big deal? They hid it in plain sight. Why don't the public go crazy at the idea of being spied on by their government? Because film and TV have conditioned us to it. We don't like it, but it's not shocking anymore. We begrudgingly accept it because we're aware of it. And that's what they did. They colluded with the fitness industry, creating hip abduction machines that make the movement look most unbecoming. The perfect disguise. Why would they go to all this trouble, you ask? I didn't have that level of clearance, but I do know they have plans for us, and it doesn't involve us being strong, powerful, or mobile. They do not want us agile. They don't want us robust, and keeping hip abduction away from us is a big part of that. The moment we came out of the trees and walked the forest floor, we needed stabilizers. But to retard our evolution, they kept this from us. And when I say they, I don't think this plan was created by us or originated on this planet. I found a crate at the facility marked the missing link, and it was alien tech. I removed it without authority from the premises, and using it has allowed me to evade capture so far, but eventually they will find me. But you can get the message out. Reproduce the tech. Spread the word. This is the real hip resistance.
That was it. And a week later, I got this letter and these plans. So I'll just read it. Government scientists discovered that hip abduction is performed principally by the glute max, med and min, and TFL, and is very important. Take the bend and squat. These are 2 leg exercises. God, this guy's boring when he writes. I'll try and spice it up. Think of the pelvis and leg relationship, though. See pictures. Oh, right, okay. I'm going to put the pictures up, and I'll read over the top of it. Right, take bend and squat, but think of the pelvis and leg relationship, though. It's basically a triangle. The wider the base, the more weight it can support. If the center line's your strength line, then any deviation outside of this, and you're vulnerable and weak. If you widen that base, and you've got strength on the outside of the base, you can support more weight. Now, you're deadlifting and squatting more. Being strong and having a strength on the outside is going to make you feel more stable, and feeling more stable will allow your brain to want to lift more. Take the lunge. Both feet are on the floor, but people feel unstable. Yet put them on a Smith machine, and they feel much better about lunging. Why? Because their lateral stability is not up to code. Improve their lateral stability, and you immediately improve the lunge. Now, when we walk and run, there's a time in every cycle when we're balancing on one leg. Whip out the support leg, and what's going to hold the table up? The hip abductors. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm just going to have to work through all this. Also, I'm going to end up being targeted for a drone strike because I'm leaking classified information. Just to help you increase your lateral hip strength. I thought I was going to be just referring people to good girl, bad girl machines. Oh, yeah, you know. She keeps her legs together. Oh, she's a princess. Spreads her legs apart and training for the porn industry. You know what, though? I think if you want to get to this next stage of human evolution and get your hands on that alien tech, it's going to cost you. Because rapidly I can see that I'm going to have to be paying for passage to a country with no extradition. So, get your wallets ready. Can you smell it? Smells like someone's selling out.